All right, let's start. Let's start.
Cool.
Vijay, I will request you to probably give a quick heads up when someone joins.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so how to build a winning resume? Um, Abhishek, since you're here, I might actually direct some questions at you. Why do you think a resume is important?
Because resume will give the first glimpse of your candidature to the employer. On the basis of that only, like they will decide, okay, if they need to pursue further or not about the candidate.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's a first impression. Very right.
Right.
It's the first impression that we make at the recruiter, and it's done only via resume. Uh, yeah. Why do we need an impressive resume? Because it's a reflection of who we are, and it's also our avatar in the system. Before we go for the job ourselves, it's a resume that represents us at every single step, right? So if you want to get shortlisted, whether you want to be called for an interview, whether
Dave has joined.
yeah, thanks, Vijay. Good
No problem.
morning, Dave.
Good morning.
All right. So, right, guys, this is precisely why a resume is important. Is for us to first and foremost is for us to get shortlisted, and that is not an easy task considering the number of resumes a recruiter sees every single day. That is the reason why your resume has to be very different. It has to be very it has to stand out, and yet it has to be professional. It cannot be pink in color. It cannot be uh, I would say it doesn't have like aeroplanes in the background and arrows and a lot of graphics. It has to be very formal, yet it has to stand out. We'll talk about how we can make sure that it's I would say different from others, yet it's professional. We'll talk about that. Okay, so these are the different steps in a job search plan, right? I want you guys to tell me at what point is a resume required. Anybody, you can unmute yourself and tell me.
When you apply,
Okay. What else?
Get the question.
These are the different steps in a job search, right? So, in which of these steps will your resume be considered?
generally it will be everywhere, but the first step is for apply.
Okay. So, yeah, rightly, it's the first step is definitely when you apply, but technically, it is in every single step. Now, let me explain how. When you're looking for a job, you need to make, when you start looking for a job, you look at the different JDs and you start making a change to your resume. You start tweaking it. Then, when you apply for a job, you need a resume to get shortlisted for the phone screen. When you go in for the phone screening, they will look at the recruiter will literally look at your resume and ask some very basic questions. In fact, not just the phone screening, even your technical screening.
Uh, Anurag and Nimesh have also joined. So now I think we have a total of 4 learners who have joined.
All right, thank you, Vijay. I think we won't need to do this anymore. All right,
Oh, good.
thank you. All right. So after your phone screening, technical screening, when you go for the on-site interview, right? Uh, all our learners who in the past have experienced that the interview is mainly about the project that they have mentioned on the resume. Sometimes it's about what they mentioned on LinkedIn. Usually, LinkedIn mirrors the resume, so all the questions are on the resume itself, but they really do scrutinize it. So you can already see that the first 5 steps include the resume. Then we go into the offer and negotiation. That's where they look at your past experience, what you've done, stuff like that. And when you start a job. Now, if you've started a job, they give you tasks that you have never done. Your resume doesn't talk about that kind of an experience. Then they don't give you that kind of a KPI. right? So really your resume is responsible for you to get selected, and is also responsible in shaping the right fit kind of KPIs for you while you're at your job. So this is literally how important your resume is, and it's really imperative for us to ensure that we make a good one, because we don't want it to spoil our chances at any step. So things you should know before you start building a resume. What job role are you applying for? Now, I am going to share. All of you know about this sheet, right? The worksheet, we used it last time. We all went through all of this. Remember last time? Okay. Yeah. So if you could all kindly open the resume sheet, let me share it. Yeah. Why don't you guys quickly open this up? So I will know if you guys are not opening it up, guys. Okay, okay, fine. Since all of you have opened a copy of the resume document, let's look at this. Yeah. So, so you can see what I've done over here. This is something that has started as a personal practice, and we started using this for all our learners, and it really makes a lot of difference. I'll tell you what we do. There are different sections that I have created with the basic details for each section that will be required. Now, whether you are going in for a data analyst role or a machine learning engineer role, or you want to go for a pure data science role, which includes all the things that you do under data science, the different roles, right? Whichever role you go for, or even if you want to change your domain for that matter, this this sheet should always be maintained with every professional thing you've done. Everything under the sun should be mentioned over here. Now, whether it's a class project, whether it's your uh, project taken at your workplace, whether it's something you've done with Grey Atom, make sure you fill this in for yourself. Like download a copy, you can download a copy for yourself and maintain it locally, right? We will be needing the sheets later as well. So I've put examples also. This is all fake example. I've just put examples for you to understand what kind of information will be required. So today when we start building a resume, if you can quickly fill this up while we are talking, then we can make a resume together. If you want, I'll also give you all towards the end, before the activity, I'll give you 5-10 minutes to quickly fill this up, and then we can make a resume together. Yeah. So what job role are you looking for? Are you looking for a data scientist role? Are you looking for an ML engineer role, business analyst? You really need to know what role you're looking for, because accordingly you will have to tweak your resume every single time. Now, before that, remember we spoke about the superpower last time, that all of us have a superpower. It could be something that we enjoy doing, and also something that you're brilliant at. Okay, I really hope that you guys remember, because it's really important for us to know what we are good at, and that becomes a very recurring theme in all your profiles. whether it's your resume, your CV, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, even your GitHub profile for that matter. Your superpower has to be the one that a recruiter can see everywhere. Like it should be quite evident, right? So that is really important for you to know before you start making a profile. Research on the job opportunities available in the market. Keep tweaking it. How can you leverage on your past experience? This is also something we've spoken about earlier. If you are someone who comes with some kind of work experience, it's important for you to be able to leverage on it instead of shunning it away. Sometimes we feel that my background is probably very different. I come from a complete finance background. I come from a complete biochemistry background, education background. So I don't want to talk about that. But no, you need to identify how can you leverage on it. Which is why when you do that Excel sheet now, that sheet has every job you've done. It will ask for skills you've developed while you were at that job, right? So it will really help if you identify your skills in your previous job and then you try to bridge the gap between that job and your data science skill set. It will be really easy for you to marry some common recurring themes. All right. And make rough iterations on paper to arrive to a final answer. This is basically you can do that Excel sheet and always maintain a copy. Always maintain a copy of that. So whenever you're going for an interview, you don't have to go through your resume. You just go through that Excel sheet. You remember all the things you've done. You have all the good pointers you want to talk about while you're at your interview, and you're sorted. So maintain that sheet, guys. It really helps me personally. And it has helped a lot of learners also. They all maintain it. All right, so some basic fundamentals. Write it, your font has to be large and very clear when it comes to your name. It shouldn't be that I can't even see what the name is, where the name is. It gets really difficult. So make it very large, make it very clear. All your contact information has to be there. But again, I want you guys to tell me for demographics, what information goes into demographics. Remember, there is this whole section where you talk about Purva, we have shared this link earlier. If you can just download an Excel copy for yourself. Okay. Yeah, I forgot where was I. Yeah. So guys, why doesn't one of you just go ahead and tell me what comes in all your contact information? Anybody?
Contact information. Hello.
Yes, Dave. Tell me.
Yeah, it's contact number,
Okay.
including primary and secondary.
Yeah.
Email address.
Uh-huh.
Link, and other information like LinkedIn and GitHub ID.
Okay. What else?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Anybody wants to add anything to it? Okay, so this is, I think, the first time I found a set of people who are like, you don't need to add anything else, which is perfect. I think Devdutt has mentioned all the important pointers. I don't know if you took this from the Excel sheet or that's how your resume is, but that's really pretty much what you need to put on your resume. Just one more thing, it needs to mention the city you are in, and if you're open to relocate. That's one information you want to put in over there, and that's it, guys. I've seen resumes with marital status, number of children, and even blood group. Please don't put it over there. It's not required. Even a date of birth is not required. Don't put all of that. Yeah. All right. So that's your basic contact information. Reverse chronological order of experience. Basically, whatever has been recent should come on top, and then you go back in time. Uh, it should be the very story-like format where uh, it should have a flow. You know, it should just have a flow. Proof of expertise. Now, you might be like, I have built so much skills in data sciences. I've gone through training with Grey Atom. I've learned this. I've learned that. But there has to be a way of proving it, right? Proving it that I really, really know this and I can apply this while I'm at the job. So for that, you'll have to start doing projects, participate in external hackathons, not just what you do with Grey Atom. You need to mention your skill section, make sure your skill section is detailed and it has all the important technical skills and all the courses that you have done. Now, for skills, again, do not mention your soft skills like leadership, decision making. I'll tell you guys further during today's discussion why you shouldn't do that. But make sure you stick to hard skills only. Now, build a template that can be tweaked for each position. Of course. So once your Excel sheet is ready, pick one of the templates you like and keep changing it with the information, most relevant information according to the role you're applying for. If you have one template, tweaking it will be super easy for you. You can just go quickly make one or two changes and have like 3 copies. All right. I'm gonna keep stopping in the middle for like a minute or something. Because if you guys have any questions, you can ask. Yep.
Yeah, Kritika, I have a question.
Yes, Dave, go ahead.
So basically, for this reverse chronological order, right? For your experience. So basically, I mean, someone is working for 10 years, right? I mean, he must be having a lot of projects to mention. So in that case, the length of the resume pages, it will be long, like 3 to 4 pages. So how to cut short that?
Okay, we'll come to that. I like that question, Dave, and I will have to address that question anyway. So let me come to that section. Once I've explained, we'll go deeper into your question. Works?
Yeah, okay.
Great. And in case I don't answer any questions, guys, you can pick me up again and be like, Kritika, you have not answered that question. All right, don't let me go until I answer your questions. All right. This should, of course, your resume should include the right and relevant content. Don't put everything you've done under the sun in your resume and don't put too less because you want to have enough information to want to get shortlisted. Yeah. Now keep it crisp, organized and clear and make sure you add your social links, GitHub, Medium and LinkedIn. These are 3 profiles that really, really help it really helps the recruiter get more information about what you've been doing. It's more detailed, it's a little bit more than what you're putting in your resume because the resume is a small document, right? It's 1.5, 2 pages. So that's where your GitHub, Medium and LinkedIn really come in. Okay, so things you need to know before you start building your resume. Now, you need to firstly know what kind of roles you're looking at. And last week we discussed about how there are different roles. There are different, the requirement for every role is very different. Even though some of the pointers are overlapping, within data science, the different roles have different requirements. So make sure that, you know, your profiles are different for the different opportunities. Now, experience cannot be built overnight, but what you can do is you can plan. If you know this is one particular domain you want to go in for, make sure you start doing projects around that domain. Make sure you start doing, I would say, make sure you start looking for opportunities. You start connecting with the right people on network for that particular domain because you know that after 2 months you want to apply for jobs, you know. So start really planning and yeah, accordingly it'll be very easy for you to build your resume. Now, even building a resume overnight is not possible because we take a lot of time to collate all the information. But if you maintain that Excel sheet I've spoken about, then that will not be difficult for you. Then you can just pick up all the information whenever you have to make a new resume. You can just pick it up, copy paste, and your resume is ready. Yeah. Start working on building the relevant portfolio projects. Yes. and highlight the right skills in your resume. If it's an ML engineer role, then you want to highlight, your EDA, model building, how strong you are with the different algorithms. You understand the why and the how of the algorithm instead of just copy pasting it from libraries. Then, Python. You want to talk about these when it's an ML engineer role. However, if it's a data scientist role, uh, which already includes everything from a data analyst, data engineer, ML engineer, or sometimes even business analyst. A data scientist role includes all of them. So then you want to make sure you mention your problem solving skills, your business acumen, again, algorithms and Python, but also how you will be able to convert a business problem to a data science problem, all of that. So make sure you pick the right skills according to the job role that you're applying for. Now, identifying the right information. As I rightly said, I think something that Dave rightly mentioned, in personal details, we will mention only the items that we mentioned earlier, your phone number, that you will pick up the phone that you will answer, your email ID, your social links, your basic city that you are in, and if you're open to relocate, and your email ID, if I've not mentioned that already. Yeah, just these couple of items, and that's it. That's it. It's not really, please don't put your whole address. Okay. Summary is really optional if you're a fresher. But if you're an experienced person, you might want to put a very short summary. But believe me, majority of recruiters don't go through your summary. They don't really read it. So you can maybe add 1 or 2 lines about if you can just highlight something important from your past for experienced people, something that you can highlight from your past and how you can marry that with your newly learned skills. That's all. Like, keep it short, keep it very, very crisp, because majority of people are not going to go through your summary. They just won't. For freshers, I don't really see how it's very important for you to put a summary. You can just go ahead and talk about your skills and then your projects. Okay. Skill set. Skill set, something I was going to mention earlier. If you start writing things like, I'm great at problem solving, decision making, great team player, I'm a, strong leadership skills, believe me, they pick up questions around those only. They will try to grill you on your soft skills that you have mentioned. And soft skills are very subjective, right? What you think is great for you might not actually be as strong as you think. So soft skills are very subjective, very easy to judge by different people. So don't mention them. Maybe implicitly you can, but not explicitly. Uh, uh, Keep your skill set to as much your technical skills. Just stick to that, and that should be ample. Now, projects that you worked on. Um, how many of you have started looking at the projects available in the available online? How many of you started thinking about projects? Anybody? Okay. Okay. So I will request you guys to really go through your Kaggle, go through GitHub, and look at projects done by other experts, other guys who are doing some really good stuff in data sciences. Please go through their projects and see how it's done. A project is basically when you take a business problem for any company and convert that business problem to a data science problem, try to bring solution, try to get insights from the data available, and see how it can increase the revenue, right? That's pretty much what a project is. It sort of bothers me that we have not really gone through any projects and we don't know much here, but please try to, I don't know, I mean, guys, please try to make sure that you are started looking at projects at least. Even if you have not built the skill set to start applying your knowledge, or building projects yourself, at least start going through them. Yeah. Have you guys made a GitHub profile? Okay, great. Yeah. If you've made a GitHub profile, then you can totally start reviewing other people's profiles as well. So great. At least start there. All right. So that would be projects, and there's so much I can talk about when it comes to projects, but I really want you people to have some idea about it. So I'm going to talk about that in our further sessions. Academic proficiency. Academic proficiency, I think some of you would have noticed that I'm calling it academic proficiency and not education, because you know, in India, not just in India, in the education sector itself, your efforts till undergraduate is considered primary education, and after that it's called continuous education. Whatever masters you do, PhD, extra certificate courses, they're all called continuous education. Now, if you've undergone the academic proficiency level only till the undergraduate level, then that's fine. You can mention your high school marks and percentage also. But if you're someone who has been working for 5 years, 10 years, you've been in the industry for such a long time, and you probably have an MBA or a master's degree, then you don't need to talk about your, class 10 and class 12 marks. Then you can straight away just mention your undergrad, your masters, and any other certification that you have done. And that's why I call it academic proficiency, because then you can put the certificates also in the same bracket instead of making many different subheadings. Additional information would be if you have any publications, if you have done any, if you've won any awards, certificates, things like that would be additional information. But try to keep it really crisp. A lot of your achievements, blogs can be seen on your LinkedIn, and you don't want the recruiter to assume that your resume is way too long. Let me not talk to this person. Keep it crisp, keep it short. Okay, so specifications and formatting. Make sure that you're very careful about your capitalization. If don't put everything in all block letters. Uh, don't put everything in sentence case. A sentence case is when the first words, first letter, or the first alphabet is capitalized. And then there is something called title case. In title case, every word's first letter is capitalized. So you want to probably stick to title case when you are I think talking about the companies you worked with, when you're talking about the course you've gone for, when you're talking about when you're writing the names, when these are names of the courses, your college, your institute, your company, when they're names, then you can use title case. Other than that, you can go to sentence case and be very careful about the capitalization. It should not be something that's like staring into the face. It's not like, right on your face, hey, I've done my master's from this university, right? Okay. So that's the same for your job titles, your degree, and overall. And make sure your capitalization format is the same. For one company, you've written in a certain way. For the other company, you've written in another different format. Don't do that. Stick to the format that you've selected. Readability. I think just today Abhishek mentioned that sometimes you have a lot of content, so it's difficult to really put it in 1-2 pages. And because we are greedy and we want to put everything we've done, we decrease the font size. But what's the point of that if it looks congested? What is the point of that when we make it so small that it's not even readable? So please try to make sure that you select a good font style and size. If you ask me, not Comic Sans, any Sans for font, SANS, those fonts are good for online profiles and resume and all of that. And your size, your written text, like the body can be 10 or 11, and your headings can go up to 13 or 14. Overall structure, make sure there's at least one or a half inch margin on all the sides. Sometimes I've seen content is literally going out of the margins, and that does not help. So please make sure there are margins and the alignment is right. In one side you have used middle aligned, another section you've used left aligned. So that looks that just affects the overall aesthetic appeal. It overall how the visibility, how pleasant your resume is to look at, that gets affected. So make sure that the alignment is right, margins are right, and the order is this order, this, right? Make sure you stick to the order. And yeah, you can probably have your projects first and then your skill set, or your skill set first and projects after that. But this is pretty much the order that you should be following. Okay, so here are some of the websites that we can use to pick up the right template. Remember, your content alignment are your real heroes. Be very careful about what you pick to mention, and keep it minimal. You want to have something to talk about when you meet the recruiter, right? When I will be sharing this deck with all of you, it will be available on that in that folder. So make sure you pick any of these, or if you think there's any other template available online, pick anything and you can start moving all the material from the Excel sheet. Link up, link up, link up. Anybody here who writes blogs? No one? Okay. If you don't write blogs, maybe you want to start reading them on Medium, but it's really important for you to go through these blogs and see all the new stuff that's happening. So you have to be a little active there. Okay. Some do's and don'ts. Make sure your resume is standard. Being different does not always mean you're useful. So if you make something super colorful and pretty to look at, it might actually not serve the purpose. So keep it formal. Try to keep it to one page. It can go to 2 pages if you're very experienced, but try to keep it as short as possible. How many of you have more than 2 pages ka resume? Be honest. 3 pages, anyone? Yeah, yeah. After today's session, you're gonna bring it down to 2 pages. Nobody looks at 3-page resumes, nobody. I'm your coach, guys. I won't look at a 3-page resume. So you have to make it 2 pages, okay? Tell a relevant story. Don't be like talking about everything, you know, this and that. And oh, I went there for one project. Then my company sent me to this project. Then I went to the US, and then this happened, and then that happened. Don't do that. Make it very crisp and a very relevant sort of a thing, where it's just neat, talking about where you started, or what all you've done, and where you are now. That's it. Keep it crisp. Focus on outcomes and use evidence. So when we talk about projects or even your experience in previous company, try to face facts, try to mention facts, try to talk about numbers, how whatever you've done impacted the revenue or the team's efficiency, or you know, numbers. Yeah, that's all we need. How you increase the sale, or how whatever you know, if you were into marketing, then how did that bring in your more customers, stuff like that. Please put in numbers, and also tell what those numbers are. Don't randomly write 3 numbers and they make no sense to anyone except for yourself. So make sure you talk about facts. Always remember, and numbers make a lot of difference. If what you've done increased your team's efficiency, I don't know if you people understand FTE, like full-time employment efficiency and all of that. If you worked on those metrics, you want to mention those. If you've been a manager, then there are different operational metrics. You want to mention those. But try to mention facts. So mention the languages and the frameworks that you know. Yeah, so I like this one. How many of you understood this one? I think you've been into the data science course for a while now. Okay, so everybody, we all know that, there are libraries available for data science, and, people are always joking about, आजकल तो कोई भी data scientist बन जाता है, because there are libraries available. You can just pick up algorithms and you can start using it. And that's, I think, pretty much why people don't prefer to mention the libraries on the resume itself, unless they're asking for it. If they're not doing that, then you can just mention what languages you know, what frameworks you know, and maybe when talking about it with the recruiter, you tell them the how and the why not for the algorithms, and don't mention the libraries. Everybody in data science knows how to mention, how to use the libraries. Use simple descriptive words, strong action words. If you're writing things like I'm a visionary, I'm a catalyst, game changer, team player, what else? I'm driven, multitasker. So all of that really is not going to help. Believe me, they will grill you purely on these pointers that you've mentioned. So don't do that. Just mention facts. Just mention facts. Okay, resume refactoring. So if you want to mention that analyze data and found patterns in this particular project, instead of writing that, you should probably have a more detailed explanation on what you did in that project and how it makes your project more helpful and relevant, right? So instead of making it very basic and literal, try to make it interesting and like a story or something more insightful even for the recruiter to look at. That's another example. Okay, focus on specific tangible outcomes and focus on very specific tangible outcomes and impact. Now, I think I have spoken about impact a couple of times already. I want you people to give me some examples on something you have done in your work experience that made an impact, and you want to talk about that on your resume. Who wants to go first? We are a small group. It's fun only when we all are, answering.
Okay, so I will take this
Yeah.
first. Okay, so what are the recently we have done some lab restructuring work in my office, and over there I saved around 60% of cost by tweaking some of the material as per my experience, and within a short time of frame. This is something my organization that benefited. I reduced the cost from 22 lakhs to 6 lakhs.
Wow, so that's great. So that is something you definitely want to mention on your resume. Definitely you want to mention. Everybody wants dhanda, and if you're bachawing paisa, that's all they need.
Right.
Right? So you want to mention facts like that. So good. I'm glad there's some clarity on what kind we're talking here. So that's that, preferably with metrics. Please give bullet point examples. Don't write paragraphs and paragraphs. We have also shared some good reading resource over here. I hope you guys get a chance to go through this. Guys, I have learners from the other batches. What they do is, they start sharing these good resources with us, and we can all share with each other. So when you guys start reading on Medium and all, if you think there's some really good resources, put it on your own LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile, reshare them, talk about them, give it to your batchmates. It's really going to bring us a lot of visibility of what's happening out there in the industry. Okay, don't have typos. Please use Word Doc, Grammarly, Google Chrome. If you're using Outlook, then Outlook. Please make sure there are no grammatical errors, because if I'm recruiting, I this is something that really turns me off when it comes to a resume. I cannot handle grammatical errors at all. It clearly shows this person is not even bothered going through the grammar. Why will I want to hire this person? So be very specific about that. Read it aloud. Ask a friend to look at it. Remember, the friend has to be from the same industry, preferably. Asking a friend who's a singer to look at a data scientist resume is not a great idea. They might not have the right expertise for it. So yeah, but please don't make grammatical errors, spelling errors, abbreviation errors. Avoid abbreviations. Be very careful about these things. Your resume is a living document and it needs to be updated periodically. For the ones who joined in late, where is the sheet? Yeah. For the ones who joined in late, please just make a copy of this, download a copy of it, and fill in the requirements. It will really help us with the activity that's coming up. Okay, so resume is a living document and it needs to be updated periodically. I think we've mentioned that so many times today, so we all have clarity over that. On that, add the new skills that you build as in when you do something and you learn something new. Update your resume, add it over there. Don't wait for yourself to start applying for jobs. First add it, first add your points, and then go ahead. Add the details of the new projects that you're building every now and then. Say you mention 3 projects and then you do another good project, then replace one of the old ones with a better, relevant, and a new one, right? And tweak your resume each time you apply for a new role. Every time. I've said this enough number of times. Please tweak it every time you apply for a new role. So we're gonna do a quick activity. I want you guys to give me a quick heads up when you think this document is slightly ready. Then we can start the activity. I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes for that. So since we are a small group, I want you all to build your resume with me right here. Even you can do this like in short. You can just put your very basic details and we can take it from there. I also hope you all are going through the material on the platform. The platform has some reading material on resume and all. I think it's in greater detail of whatever I spoke about today. So make sure you guys go through those also. Let me know when y'all are ready. No rush. Take like 5 minutes. Hey, anybody over here who's a fresher? Okay, Nimesh is a fresher. Okay, great. Okay, even Anurag. And I'm assuming, or if you have built your LinkedIn also, at least started working on your LinkedIn profiles. Oh, Nimesh joined us yesterday. Welcome, Nimesh. Okay, please let me know when you guys are even closely ready with some information on your local sheet. I promised 5 minutes and it's only been 2 minutes, but let me know when you're ready, okay? We can start building a resume then. Okay, we'll take one last minute. You can't edit it, Hitesh. You have to download a local copy. If everybody starts editing the same file, there'll be a problem, no?
We have to fill like all details right now.
No, even if you do some basic, right? So if you have some details, it'll be easy for you to start building a resume with me right now.
Okay, fine.
Oh, Hitesh also joined us. Hitesh came in late, no, today? All of you are coming late. Next time, if you come late, no? I'll be like a teacher. Okay, can we start? Hitesh, I was joking. Okay, don't get scared. Okay, let's start. This is the sheet. Let's go back over here and pick up a template. As you guys can see, I'm picking it up from from a link given on the website on our deck. Okay, I'm gonna sign up with. All of you can see my screen, right? Okay, let's look at your resume. Where can I find your resume? Is there a search button? Wow, I've used this earlier and right now I can't see your resume. Oh. Great. So let's pick one of them. Does anybody want to go ahead and choose? Make sure this is space efficient also, so you don't want to pick something like this or something like this because a lot of space is being wasted. And I'm talking about y'all, and all of you seem to have a lot of experience and knowledge, so you don't want to take something that takes away a lot of space. You want something that's space efficient. Anybody wants to pick any? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
I think वो Chad Gibbons resume is quite good.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is good. Which else? Which other option can we take if not this? I'll tell why. So even this one is not very space efficient. If you start putting your projects, this is gonna go to 2 pages immediately. But if you don't have, if for freshers, I think we have 2 freshers here. For them, this is a good option. I like this one. Do you want to pick this one, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with Chad Gibbons because we spoke about this one. All right. I like Canva because you can make changes to size and font and all that also. And they come with basic things. All right. So I'm going to start picking information from here. This is Raima Gupta. Yeah. We'll have to change the picture, but we'll do that later. Look at how fast this whole thing is. You see what I'm doing, right, guys? I'm literally just copy pasting because my Excel sheet is ready. LinkedIn. Here we can put her GitHub. Yeah, so I'm just gonna write GitHub. This can be Mumbai, ready or open to relocate. Yeah, any questions so far? Okay, I guess no questions. Let's move on. Yeah, this question is fine. This part is fine, right? Basic demographic, basic details are there. Email ID is not mentioned. We should ideally put in an email ID also over here. Super crisp, super clean. This is where your summary comes in. But if you don't want to put in a summary, then just avoid it. Use the space for skills and other details. You can actually move all this get in contact information also over here. And once you do that, if you move all the get in contact information here, you can move your work experience over here. You can talk more of your projects. So you basically buy space. You know, you can always realign things to buy more space. All right. So I'm not gonna call this work experience. I want to call this projects. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste this as personal profile. Yeah, I hope you guys see what I'm doing here. So I don't think I have skills over here. Okay, let's use this. But does anybody want to give me some skills that I can add over here? I think this one is designed for someone into software development. Oh, my battery is low. Please allow me 1 second, guys. I'll just get my charger. Give me 1 second. I'm really sorry about that. Okay. So does anybody want to add some skills here?
Yeah, MATLAB programming
Okay.
and LabVIEW programming.
I can't hear you. Hello?
MATLAB programming.
How do you spell that? I'm a psychologist, guys, not the techie.
Okay. It's I will type it.
Okay, put it on chat. Great. Oh, Devdutt has already given. Okay, great. So you see, we already have some skills that this person has. All right. Now, you see how this person has mentioned ability to analyze complex technical information, can analyze, design, and implement database structures. So even though some of it is written in a very sentence format, it is still not soft skills. These are pretty much good technical knowledge and technical skill set. So that's good to mention. Excellent problem solver can also get you into trouble, so don't mention that. Detail oriented is also good. At least it's really good for someone in data science. Yeah. Okay, so you can move this up. All right. Now, projects. I'm going to pick up some projects from here. So here the projects are going to come from your time and gray atom, right? Or will it be your projects from your workplace? What will this be?
All relevant projects to that profile, maybe.
Exactly. Whether it's from your job or whether it's from what you've done individually, whether it's from Grey Atom, if it's a data science project, you want to put it over here. As simple as that. But sometimes if it was a pure data science project you've done in a previous job, then you want to mention that in your job history.
But as like I'm currently working, but I don't have any data science project as such. My profile is completely different.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why you don't need to mention any of those projects here. Then you mention only whatever new data science projects you do.
Okay, so it will be like relevant projects more of.
Only relevant projects.
Okay.
So let's pick this up. So you see how we have spoken about projects undertaken, the skills you've used, the impact on the business. This is extremely important, the impact on the business and outcome. This is very, very important, and your link to GitHub repo. Yeah. So let's just pick this up. Ayo, what's happening? Is it just me who gets bothered with all these sliding bars? They're really difficult to use sometimes. So if you look at what this person has done, I actually want to show you his profile also. You guys want to see a real resume of a learner?
Yeah, that would be great.
Right? Okay, Cindy, allow me a second. Let me pull up a really good resume. I want to give you guys some good ideas there. Wait. Can you all see my screen? All right, great. So this is a learner, Bhushan, and he recently transitioned and has joined L&T. I will probably open his LinkedIn also in LinkedIn because I worked very closely with him and we worked on his profiles together. So you see how it's crisp. He has 2+ years of experience, 2-3 years of experience in data science, and that's how he's kept his profile very neat, very basic, very simple. See, this is where I copied his project from. So his project talks about the skills he has, what insights he got, and why was it relevant for that particular business. He also mentioned a project that was ongoing. Sometimes it's important for the recruiter to know that you're not stagnated, you are doing things non-stop, you're upskilling yourself, you're learning new stuff, and he's mentioned that. Yeah? All right. See how he's mentioned the skill section, very crisp. One look, like if the HR probably will not go through the other items. We'll just want to use this to validate whether you're a good fit or not. Skill section super neatly done. What else do you guys like from this resume? Because this is one of my favorite resumes. He's done it really well. What else do you guys like? Or what you don't like? Even that's fine. Anybody?
Means as you mentioned, like we don't have to use the strong words like motivator and leader, but he has used that. So
yeah, that is true. So even I spoke to him about this, and his response was, if I can justify this, should not be a problem. So I said, yeah, okay, if you think you have the confidence to justify this, and if they ask you questions on that, if you're able to answer, and if you're able to prove that, yeah, you are someone who's always pushing others, and you've led a team of people, then yeah, sure. But
okay.
you should be able to justify that really strong. But very good observation, Purva. What else, guys?
Is it one pager, resume?
Just one page.
Okay.
And believe me, he got shortlisted in so many companies. He got shortlisted in, he got selected in some companies. He went for like final round interviews with a couple of them. And it's not common. It's not common to get so many offers. It's just not common. He did a damn good job with his resume.
And he was having some experience like with companies
He
and
worked with Greatom itself for 2 years.
okay. Okay.
He got hired by Greatom after his course.
So means my main question was like I have pretty long experience, pretty much experience.
Mhm.
So how can I fit my around 4 companies in that short, means short space?
So if you have 4 or 5 companies, then you might want to go on to 1.5 to 2 pages, but try to stick to 1 page if possible. If not, because he had one company, he wrote so many things,
Yeah.
right? You are anyway changing your domain, right?
Yes.
Changing your domain, you're changing your industry, in fact, for that matter. When you're doing that, you don't need to write so much. Here he was showing his data science skills.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
don't need to write so much. So maybe you can push a little more, but just this much space is enough to mention a couple of companies. I have worked with 4 companies, and my resume is 1 page.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. So in fact, we had one learner from the US, and he has 16 years, 8 pages, and I told him this is not happening. You can't have 8 pages, and he brought it down to 2 pages. 16 years of experience.
Okay, because that is the longest portion of my resume right now, which I want to cut short, because I can always cut short on projects given that they are not relevant to data science role. But I need to have that all companies on.
You should mention all the companies, but what you mentioned, what you've done over there, skills and all, if it's not something that you will be required in the new jobs, then you don't want to talk in great detail about it. For that, remember you have LinkedIn, and they will open your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn can be a saga. It's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Right? But your resume has to be super crisp and should only talk about data science. It should bleed data science. I'm having this conversation keeping in mind all of you want to transition to data sciences. Yeah. So that's why I'm talking in that format.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Sidesh.
Ma'am, are there any career services classes for LinkedIn profile building after this?
Yes, we have that.
Okay. Then can you show me that US one's resume? If
No.
possible.
No. So usually when we show a resume, we need to take permission. And
Okay, no issues.
yeah. So the Bhushan was comfortable because he's been a student, and he's been part of the Creatum team. But I don't know if our friend Gonzalo is as comfortable. Maybe you can check his LinkedIn profile. His name is Gonzalo Sosa, so you can check it out.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So Kritika,
Yeah.
for myself, like I say that I don't have any project experience related to software field. Okay. So do I need to mention my projects over here, or I can only mention the projects which I am going to do on Great?
If you have some projects that you've done, so please try to understand everybody. Try to draw common lines. If you can pull some strings from your previous experience and from data science, and you can still manage to play a tune, put that over there. If you think the projects were very different and not relevant, don't mention them. And it's okay to not have any projects from your previous companies. It's absolutely fine. You are changing your domain. Agar data science kar rahe hote, to you wouldn't come and study data science, right? So it's absolutely okay. But make sure you put only things that completely reflect data sciences. If it's a project that does not talk about those things, maybe you can have 1 sentence added, 2 sentences, and then the rest of it is available on LinkedIn. LinkedIn can be really exhausting. It can be really long. It can be lengthy. It can be, you can write everything over there. But resume, keep it very relevant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think with this, you guys would have understood how I am talking about, your company. If I again open, I think I've closed Bhushan's resume. If you look at those, even for work experience, he in very crisp, he wrote about what he did with Creatum. Let me open another, let me think of another resume that we can open. I'm thinking of some good strong resumes. Because you guys are thinking so much, I also want to show you some good ones. Wait. Okay. Yeah, I like this one too. All right. Yeah, can you see? All his projects, his work experience. Again, he's worked with Creatum. And this was pure data science experience. That's why it has come above projects undertaken. But ideally, your projects should have come on top, and experience can come at bottom, or they can be parallel to each other. He's spoken about his skills. Please look at the skill section. How neatly these guys have mentioned their skills. The Grey Atom experience, their education and their undergrad all comes in over here as academic proficiency. Because he was also applying for international jobs, he put in some volunteering activities, because in international jobs, it really helps if you have volunteer experience. So he mentioned those as well. Yeah. So these were some of the good examples I saw. We also know how, okay, we didn't see how you can export it. I don't think I have to show you guys how you can export this. You can download this in a particular format you want. Remember, your resume should always be in PDF format because it's non-editable. Now I'm going to go some frequently asked questions. Probably you guys are going to have these questions already. 1 pager, 2 pager, it depends. There are no hard restrictions, but definitely not more than 2 pages. Nobody's going to read so much. Sometimes they don't even look at the second page. So make sure your first page is what carries your projects and your skills, and everything else can go to the second page. If you have to make a 2 pager. Yeah. How important is it to use big words? It's not, because sometimes a recruiter might be someone who has really good technical skill, but is not great with English himself or herself. And if you write really, really big stuff that you can't explain, he or she cannot understand, it doesn't make sense. Keep it very simple. The simpler your English is, the better it is. We are not trying to show off our vocabulary skills. Of course, having good vocabulary helps, but don't make it so difficult that you have to someone has to sit with a dictionary or with Google to really comprehend what's written over there, right? Are soft skill important? Yes, super important, but please be implicit about it. So remember I spoke about things like team player. Now it's when you're hiring, right? For the ones who come with experience, I'm sure you have hired and you know, it's important to have someone who can work in teams. It's important for someone who can think independently. You know, those kind of skills really matter. But having them mentioned in the resume itself is not a great idea. What you can do is, if you've been part of any team like sports or performing arts, then you might want to mention that somewhere. If you have handled a team, then maybe in your work experience for that particular company, you can mention that you led a team of 5 people. That itself means you have leadership qualities. That itself means you have been in a managerial role. You know, very implicitly, you might want to mention those things, not put it out there in exact words. Team building, team manager, you don't want to do that. Yeah. What is an ATS? Anybody here knows what's an ATS? No one?
No.
ATS is a software where generally they search for the specific words. If I'm not wrong, they are
Correct. ATS is an application tracking system, and basically this is used by big companies which are hiring for multiple roles, and they have an ATS so that the recruiter's job is easier. They don't have to go through 100 profiles. They run all the applications through this software. It picks up the relevant skills and the words that the JD has, and then those people get shortlisted for the next round. So you can use JobScan. JobScan is a portal where you can upload your resume and check how ATS friendly it is. Make sure you put in all the relevant keywords so you can beat the ATS. But again, in our country, ATS is not very widely used. So if you're not getting shortlisted, it is not because of the ATS, it's probably because of projects. And link up. If you have all the links up, it also picks up information from your different links. So even if there's something that your resume does not have, but your LinkedIn has, your GitHub has, that will also help you. What does happen? Okay, how to show GRATM experience? You can put that in your education section and of course in projects. Your GRATM experience is not a professional experience. It is not your work experience. Do not put that in work experience. Unless you work with us, which should be great if that happens. Whom to approach to get feedback? Time for a joke. No matter what you do, dad will always be disappointed. No matter what you do, mom will always be very, very proud. So I don't think they are the best people to ask for their opinion on your resume unless they come from the same background. If they are into data sciences or if they are in the industry in similar roles, then yes, definitely go and ask them. Other than that, skip asking friends, cousins who are not from the industry, because data sciences is very, it's still very new, and you don't want to make a lot of mistakes. You want to be very particular about what you're putting in. So ask me, ask your mentors, ask industry experts, ask anybody who's in the industry. Be very picky about who you pick. Yeah, for this. And the more number of people you ask, they will all have an idea, suggestion, sometimes opinion. Eventually, this is your resume. As long as you can own it, as long as when the recruiter asks why is there a crease on your resume, if you can answer that question, that's enough. And remember, your resume is your representative, so they will grill you. They will ask you questions you never imagined will be asked. They will ask you, why is there an arrow? Why is there a blue wave in the background? At that time, you can't snatch your resume and walk out. You will have to be able to answer, because sometimes that's a pressure test. Sometimes they're just checking how, how quick you are on your feet when it comes to thinking creatively. That's the kind of things they're trying to understand. So please own your resume. Everybody will have an opinion. Yeah. Is cover letter important? No, because there are direct application happening everywhere, but it's always a good one to, it's a good document to have, because it becomes important when you are applying for jobs on their own portals, like for Amazon, Oracle, Gift. So there's some NGO kind of a company, Give India, all of these, they all have their own portals, and they will ask you like a question on why do you think you should be hired? What sets you apart? If you have a cover letter, you can just pick information from there, copy paste. At that time, you won't have to type. You saw how quickly we built a resume because our Excel sheet was ready. In the very same way, you can just copy paste. It will be super, super fast that way. Should I include a picture? Nobody asked me this question. I want you people to tell me, what do you all feel? Should we include a picture?
Maybe.
Don't go with what I've written. If you think it's a no, please tell me it's no.
Not necessary.
Okay.
On Naukri.com, it is written as it improves your chances of hiring.
Okay. All right. So I'm getting mixed responses here. If you ask me again, this is out of my personal experience. Adding a picture helps because it feels you have nothing to hide. Also, when you add a picture and the same picture is there on LinkedIn, you have automatically reinforced the same image in the other person's mind twice. It's more like this person has nothing to hide. This person wants to tell us everything. When you meet that person, I don't know when that will happen after COVID, but whenever you meet that person, there is a sense of recognition because they've already seen your picture. And thanks to social media and LinkedIn and GitHub, your picture will anyway be available. So if you have a space constraint, you can avoid putting a picture. But if space is available, then a profile with a picture gets shortlisted faster, simply because it does not get easily lost in a pool of different resumes. If I'm looking at 5 resumes which look almost the same, one has a picture, I will not end up skipping it. I'll at least give it 10 seconds to read, right? So it just increases your chances, that's all. If you are putting a picture, monochrome is better than a colorful picture, and try to keep it professional. A peace symbol, a picture with mommy, shadi mein photo khicha hai. Don't put all of those. Keep it super super professional. Picture with sunglasses is also not a great idea because yeah, I mean, put a very professional picture without sunglasses. Don't put Goa pictures. Yeah. All right. How to add preferences? References. Don't put references on your resume because you are floating your information. When you start putting some references, you're also floating their contact information to literally the whole world, and that's not a very good practice anymore. Keep it handy and choose them wisely. When I say choose them wisely, I'm writing a small article on resume references and LinkedIn recommendations. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm writing that. Once I put it up on LinkedIn, you guys can check it out. Yeah, I will share the link with you all. So that will really help you all frame it right. But don't just mention your resume references on your resume. It's not a good practice anymore. That's it from my end, guys. Questions?
What should we include in cover letter? That I think we missed.
So cover letter is not something that that is really required anymore. But and it's a really big topic, Purva. If we go into cover letter, it's gonna be really lengthy. What I'm gonna do is I have found some 2-3 good resources. I will share that with a follow-up email to today's presentation.
Okay.
That will give you a good idea on how you can make a cover letter.
Okay.
Kritika,
Abhishek.
my current experience is around 11 years, okay? And if we are going to tweak my LinkedIn profile, it
Yeah.
will look very different. So is it a good idea that I can create a separate profile
No.
or no?
No, tweak the same one.
Okay.
We will have a separate LinkedIn session in 2 weeks, guys. No worry.
Okay. And about references, is it okay? Like in my current resume, under the reference tab, I mentioned provided upon request.
That
Is
is
it
fine.
that is fine? Okay.
Nobody asked about declaration. I've seen so many people have the written above given information is true to my knowledge as from the date of presentation, blah, blah, blah. Guys, this is no more a document that we are floating, but, physically, it's not something you give to your friend's dad and he's giving it in his company. It doesn't work that way. Physical copies are not happening anymore. So sending a digital copy without a signature does not make sense. You're anyway linking your LinkedIn and GitHub. So that whole declaration bit you can completely avoid that. We already have space constraint. A lot of you are people with work experience. Use that space to talk about the experience and knowledge you have instead of a declaration.
Kritika, during session you told that we should use PDF format only.
Yes.
Why specifically PDF? Like, okay, editable, but employer is not going to edit my resume, right?
I don't know, yeah, this is out of experience again. There have been times where you have probably given sometimes you ask your friends to refer you, right? And you give them a resume, and because of the computer, the format changes. You've sent it from your Windows. It's gone to a MacBook, and over there they've opened it in Pages, and then they've shared that. So the format changes. If it's a PDF, it's the most acceptable format, and it's the content the alignment, text, all of that doesn't get changed because the reading software is different. But for Word documents, if it moves to Pages and other editable the softwares, the font alignment, all of that changes. So you don't want to take that risk because that will change the spacing, that will change the overlap, that will change the columns, things like that.
Okay.
I have one question, like in skills and the programming languages, like that kind of technical stuff. If I have other programming knowledges language,
Okay.
so can I mention that as well? That
Yeah.
is not relevant to data science, but programming language only.
Of course you can. In short, just in skills you can.
Okay. Okay, fine. So no need to have projects about that, but I will
No.
just mention the skills.
Yeah. Then if they ask questions, then you can talk about it.
Okay.
Kritika, if you mention a lot of skills, don't we look like overqualified?
Not overqualified, overconfident, yeah.
So we need to choose our skills also wisely.
Very wisely. Even your skills that you mentioned on LinkedIn, having 35 skills, come on, man. If we are 35 skills, why are we looking for a job? Somebody should kill to hire you and me, right? So we need to limit our opportunities. We need to really limit our opportunities to really good ones and make sure we don't get, what do you say, rejected because they think we are overconfident.
So number of skills, like any ideal numbers, like 6, 7 skills are fine or something.
No, yaar, I think I'm gonna let that be to your discretion. I think you can really choose that. But I would, I don't know, like Purva wants to mention her other programming skills, right? Then the number increases because basic data science skills so are required. I think I showed you all 2 profiles. You saw how the skill section was. I think if you can limit it to something like that, that would be great.
Okay.
On LinkedIn, Abhishek, it can you can go up to say 20, 18, 18, 19, yeah, on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And
Kritika, I guess we have another session with this Zoom ID, so we'll have to end it.
Oh, okay, we'll have to wrap this, guys. Let's catch up again next week. And you guys can add me on LinkedIn and shoot some questions there.